Well, good day YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino beer review. Today I have the Rhino, and we're looking at a beer. Today's beer is up here. So what do we have here? It says that well, you know what? Here we go. So it's OT Brewing. It's a strong beer. OT Brewing is in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. It is Velo Love, and it's a maple Belgian Dubbel. Now over here it says Velo Love Maple Belgian Dubbel. Contains water, barley malt, hops, maple syrup, and yeast. Worries me a little bit because I bought it at a brewery that didn't keep their beer in the fridge. And if it contains maple syrup, that worries me. But it doesn't feel like it's super under pressure, so we might be okay. For those of you wondering why I'm caring, maple syrup has a tendency to turn in beer, especially if it's not pasteurized. I don't know if this beer is pasteurized or not. Don't know. We're going to drink it and find out what's going on, right? So we're looking at 6.5% alcohol by volume Belgian Dubbel. So OT, I know there was an Overtime Brewing, and is OT the Overtime Brewing, or is that just an OT Brewing? I remember when Craft Tap was doing beers across Canada, just shipping them to you. I was actually ordering them while I was in Pernitook, and they were shipping them to me. They didn't realize just how much money that was. We aimed to transform the most iconic Canadian treat into a warm and inviting drink. What if maple syrup was a beer? Maple syrup's been in beer a lot. I don't know if maple syrup would do okay as a beer. I know that maple syrup does okay as a whiskey, as a Coeur de Bois and Sortilège and such give off. Velo Love matches the style, color, and brewing technique to bring the idea to What do you mean it matched? Okay, it matched the style, color, and brewing tech. What style, color, and brewing technique did you need to turn maple syrup into beer? The outcome was a comforting and heartwarming beer that will evoke fond memories and keep your fall vibes alive. Cruise into the maple groves. The fuck's a maple grove? Okay, what do we got here? One person I know has tapped it in with a mark and given it a 4. 97 people have tapped it in with marks and given it a 3.75. I guess this shows how Untapped is not as high as Beer Advocate or Rate Beer. I like it better solely for the ease of use and the ease of keeping track of things. But hey, so Pierre Olivier is the one that tried it. He untapped it at home. They had me at Maple. Purchased at Urban Cellars. Oh, is this recent? Oh, it is. He did this a month ago. Okay, so he was like, they had me at Maple. He purchased it at the Urban Cellars that I frequent. I'm a fan and not a fan of that Urban Cellars at the same time, solely due to the age of some of their beers. But this is a single can beer. Most of their single can beers aren't that old. Oh. Now, if I'm being myself and thus being honest, I hate that I even say that. Why does that become a saying in the English language? If I'm being honest, why do we have to say that? Just be honest. Just be honest. You shouldn't have to preface it with if I'm being honest. But they also, for buying this, had me at Maple. When I saw Maple on the can at the Quantz Street at the Quant Street Urban Cellars, I was like, Yes! I don't mind if I do. And here we are. That, the, you know what? I think, I really think that the Edison bulbs make the walls look a lot better. But my God, it does not help. It does not help telling the color of a beer. 1 second here. I need to turn my light on my phone. Okay, so like a deep amber. That's what we're looking at, like a deep amber. So kind of like a maple syrup. It's maple syrup colored. The head was slightly off white. There was lots of snap crackle pop. It's gone now, but there's still a snap crackle pop. Sent from the glass. There is a maple syrup note to that. There's a maple syrup note. There's a little bit of a bready biscuitiness, which almost gives off a French toast vibe because of the maple syrup. On top of that, we're making a Belgian double, and I don't know why, but a lot of Belgian doubles don't have Demerara sugar in them, but they have that Belgian candy sugar scent. So it almost comes off as like cinnamon sugar on top of French toast with maple syrup, is what I'm getting out of the glass. Smells divine. Can. Let's hope it's just good. Okay, so the can is just as good. However, the can has a slight alcoholic astringency to it, which as a Belgian double also kind of makes sense. I do believe this is my first ever beer from OT Brewing. I do believe it is my first ever beer from OT Brewing. I'm a little perturbed that it would be the first beer I've ever had by them. But they have 19,000 check-ins. 5,000 of them are unique. They have 87 people that like them, and I've done nothing with them. And they are 667.4 kilometers away from my door. It's actually not all that bad, to be honest. I mean, Calgary is anywhere between 6 and 8 hours away, depending on how you drive here. But, you know, Dan's not allowed to come and say hi. He doesn't like albinos. It's okay. He doesn't even come to the channel or anything. He just doesn't like albinos. It's okay. I get it, Dan. I get it. Cheers. Okay. So I used to do a maple poached pear. And I would make like a maple syrup compote. And I would poach my pear, and then like I would drizzle it on there, and then I would poach the pear some more so that it would almost candify on the pear. And take the pear flavor out. And that reminds me of the maple candy I would make with maple syrup. Oh, excuse me. I've done a caramel one as well, but it's not as good as the maple syrup one. I'm legitimately little weirded out with how good that is. Full-bodied. I'd say medium mouthfeel because there is a low carbonation. There is an almost raisin-esque flavor in here, a nice dark fruit flavor, but I'm saying raisin that hits at the forefront, mixes with the maple. The maple goes all the way through from front to back. Not like Aunt Jemima or what's it called now? Thornbridge? No, not Thornbridge. I don't even know what it's called anymore. What did they rename it to? I don't buy table syrup. I buy maple syrup. But so not table syrup. Excuse me. If I was to say any maple syrup, I would say, oh, my wife buys this no sugar added maple syrup, and it's still really good because maple syrup is good. It's just not added sugar. There's a sugar that's in the maple syrup, and I can't remember the company's name, but that's what this tastes like. It's in a glass jar bottle thingy, and is what it is, right? I like this. I do. I like this. If she was down here, I'd ask her. There is a bready biscuitiness to it too. So between the raisin flavor, the maple flavor, the bready biscuitiness, and then the finish is just slightly sweet and very earthy. All in all, it tastes almost like I'm eating French toast on like fresh baked bread. Like it's bready, it's biscuity, it's sweet, it's mapley, it has a little bit of a fruit ester to it. It is very good. And in the immortal words of Guy, from currently drinking in Canada, even though he doesn't do much videos anymore, his wife doesn't let him. Get some pants. I know I'm one to talk, right? But yeah. It's a very, very dangerous beer because it is almost 7% alcohol. It's 6.5% alcohol. It's 1.5% alcohol higher than the average beer. Albeit, I'd say that the average beer's percentage is probably higher now because with craft beer, you've had so many higher ABVs. Excuse me. But then who knows, right? Because a lot of the big companies still do a lot of lower ABVs. So, I don't know. I wonder what the average ABV is in all the beers I've reviewed. Way too much work to find that out. It's a very good beer. It really is. What did Pierre give it? Pierre gave it a 4 out of 5, so an 8 out of 10. I think it is top tier, which is 8 and above for me. I think it is better than he gave it. I think it's not elite status, but it's close. I will give it an 8.75 out of 10. This is a solid beer. And if you see it and you like maple syrup, you should get it. It does remind me, to an extent, it reminds me of Sortilège and Coeur de Bois. However, there is no maple whiskey that touches Coeur de Bois. There is no maple beer that I've ever had that touches Coeur de Bois. However, it reminds me of those. It is very good, and it could be good mixed with vanilla ice cream to make a float. it could be good with a lot of things out there. And I think that's where I get excited, because though I never wanted to waste my whiskey when I drank whiskey on ice cream, both of those maple whiskeys would have went amazingly well on ice cream. However, one of the two, Coeur de Bois, was so much better than the other. And I remember I did get a gift once by my good friend from elementary school, all the way up to when I left Ottawa in high school. Mr. Andrews, I'm not going to say his first name because he might get angry, but he had watched a video of mine about Coeur de Bois, and he was so intrigued that he found 3 bottles of it in Ontario, and he bought all 3 and he sent me one, and he drank one of them in one sitting, and he was like, my God, this is good. I hate you and love you at the same time. And I'm like, I get it. And I hate you and love you at the same time for sending me a bottle of this, because I love this shit. And that was back when my influencer days still actually would get me things. Not that I try to get things now. I do. I want to support the breweries that I get things from. Right? You want to do things for me? Give me your time. Do some videos with me. Other than that, I want to support you. So I try to support you. And I support you by buying the stuff, and whether or not I like it, I'm honest about it. And I say, hey, if I don't like it, you might love it, so try it. Anyway, guys, out of 10, yeah, 8.75 out of 10. I think it's fucking fantabulous. Cheers. Bye-bye. Ah.